What's good, YouTube collectors? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go into 5 pre-modern and or vintage icons that I'm going to be investing in and why I find them to be attractive investments going into 2022 and hopefully beyond. So before we get into that, just a quick disclaimer. This is not investment advice. You should not take investment advice from people on YouTube or the internet. You should do your own research, collect things that you enjoy to have, and hopefully if you are smart about it, you will potentially make some nice returns over time. So we're going to go in the order of the list above me, and first off, I do only have one example that I pulled out today of Didier Drogba, but this is one of my all-time favorite players. Not only is he an icon from the club I support, which is Chelsea, but if you know a little bit about his history, the guy also stopped a civil war in his homeland, so pretty crazy. You can look into that if you don't know the story, but this is a pretty nice example of a 2006 World Cup foil, and this set in general, if you don't know about it, I think you should probably look into it. There's many icons in this foil type finish. There's also some early versions and early cards of some slightly less iconic but still very, very popular players or big name players, but I would definitely consider Didier Drogba an icon, and I think he will have some staying power over the next few years. So this one is a 9.5, graded by SGC, as you can tell, which they are pretty strict. I sent this one in myself as like one of my first ever graded submissions. At last check, this was a pop 1, but I haven't checked for a while, so not sure what the PSA pop report and that kind of thing is. But going back into just the idea of pre-modern and vintage, keep in mind stuff like this in high grades, be it like 7, 8, 9 and up, depending on how rare it is, very good chance this is going to be more scarce and more rare over time than a lot of the modern stuff. A lot of the newer rookies, I mean, they literally have like 20 different cards with a rookie card logo, so we'll probably dive into that another day, but this is one of my favorite cards. This is kind of more of like a PC thing than really even an investment, so I'm probably just going to be holding on to this for quite a while. But if you happen to come across some of these and they look like they're in gradable condition, I really do think by the time this year's World Cup rolls around, that would be a pretty nice thing to have in your collection / investment portfolio. So next up, we're going to go with Phenomino Ronaldo, not Cristiano, but Brazilian Ronaldo. And this card specifically, and another example I have, is from Mundi Cromo, Las Fichas de la Liga, and this is from the year 2007. So these two I actually packed myself. I bought a box or 2 of these. I think I bought 2 boxes of Las Fichas packs, either from, I think some of them were from the United States and one of them might have come from Europe. But anyway, there's this really nice foil card here you can see, and it's a little more like lasery and rainbow looking when it's not in the top loader, but I'm trying to keep it in nice shape so I can hopefully get that graded. And this is just kind of more like the base version of Ronaldo, which is still really nice, and actually the centering is pretty good on this. If you ever get into Las Fichas or those sets, usually the centering is like pretty bad and the condition coming out of the packs is pretty bad. So this one is in pleasantly decent condition. This is kind of a later Ronaldo card, but still really nice. This one I think in a SGC tux would look pretty freaking good. Trying to get the angle. There we go. So you guys can see some of the refractor laser type deal on this one. On the back, I didn't realize when I was getting some of these cards together, I actually have a Las Fichas Sergio Ramos, so we'll save him for another day, but that's a pretty early Sergio Ramos holographic type card or refractor. So technically the first 2 that we looked at, Ronaldo and Drogba, are both pre-modern. We'll get into a little bit more vintage here in a minute, and you can technically probably argue some what constitutes vintage, what constitutes pre-modern, but to me these are just pre-modern, and I think these are 2 nice examples of some Ronaldo cards that are maybe still affordable. A lot of his like PSV and really early stuff is just going to be probably out of my price range, and I would imagine out of a lot of your guys' price range, but if you can afford it, then I do think Ronaldo is definitely a worthwhile investment to consider for this year. Next up, we have Zlatan, and you'll probably notice with this list I made, I mean, really anybody that you can, I think you could probably consider just about anyone an icon if they have just, you could say one word and someone knows instantly who you're talking about. So you could say El Fenomeno for Ronaldo, or just Ronaldo, and people will pretty much know right away. If you say Zlatan, people are pretty sure to know who you're talking about, I think. So this one's kind of a simple, more common base type deal. This is a sticker from Germany 2006 World Cup. So same as that Drogba, but not a card. This one's actually a little sticker. I do have a foil Zlatan as well that I'm going to get graded sometime this year, similar to that Drogba, but this one is nice, but I'm more excited about this one, which is already graded. And this one is a PSA 9. This is a 2008 Panini UEFA Euro Zlatan card, and this one's kind of nice because it's like the acetate sort of finish. It's kind of transparent. You can see through it. I do like that aspect of it. And at last check, I think the PSA 9 of this was also a Pop 1, so I don't know that it still is. But again, going back to the theme kind of this video with vintage and pre-modern, keep in mind, like, there might still be some of these around somewhere, but I find it kind of hard to believe that there's going to be hundreds and thousands more 9s and 10s of this getting graded. So that could be totally wrong. But compared to like a Pedri or a Gavi or any of those type players, which I do like, and I am going to invest some in them, as far as safety and rarity and scarcity of where you're trying to invest in for soccer, I think stuff like this is going to be more my focus this year at least. So yep, this is a 2008 UEFA Euro card, and this is probably, again, another like PC type card, one of my favorite players ever, if not my top favorite. So this one I actually just have displayed like on a little stand here above my desk. So this one is probably not being sold anytime soon. But if I see more of this kind of card out there, I am probably going to scoop it and hopefully grade it. So the next card we're going to look at is another name you should definitely know if you're into the soccer investing space at all. This is Alan Shearer from 1990-91 Pro Set. So the thing about these are not particularly rare. You can buy one of these off eBay for anywhere from like $5 to $10. So in terms of rarity, okay, not insanely hard to find, but to find them in really decent condition, that is the tough part. Try and hold this a little bit closer. This one I also did pack myself, and usually they have like one or two sides that are just covered with edge wear, even coming out of the pack, but this one is definitely up there with like a 8.5 to 9 to 10 range of grading from what I've seen at least. So this is technically one of his earliest, if not rookie cards. So I think there's plays to be made on this Alan Shearer, especially if you can find it in really good condition, or you could always buy the boxes and open them. I've opened some of the boxes before on Instagram or Twitch, and they're a lot of fun to open, and they were affordable the last time I looked. I really don't know if they're still that affordable, to be honest, but just buying the box and trying to pack them might be a good bet. But also in this set, you can find, I'll try to think of a few off the top of my head, Ian Rush, Ian Wright, Teddy Sheringham, I want to say Gary Lineker. There's quite a few early versions of some really iconic players. So Alan Shearer, if you don't know, top all-time leading Premier League goal scorer, and given Harry Kane's recent form, rip, I don't know if anybody's going to be catching up with him anytime soon. So maybe, but I think Alan Shearer is also a pretty safe bet in terms of staying relevant. And not to mention, I've seen him do some cool like media type stuff recently, and I think he's going to still be in the spotlight given that he holds that record. And then next up, we have two different versions of Ruud Gullit. So I have actually two stickers in here. This is from a set from Italy called Edigama. I believe I'm saying it right. And these are 1992 Edigama. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure that's what it is. It's been a while since I looked back at these, but these are also in my pile for grading. So I'm 99% sure it's Edigama 1992. But these are some nice just Milan stickers. I have some nicer centered ones that are already set aside to get graded. But I think this would technically qualify as vintage as well, like that Alan Shearer. Not so much pre-modern, but more of the actual vintage type. And then we have a graded Gullit. This was also a card I bought off eBay and got graded, and to my surprise, it came back a Gem Mint 10 from SGC. So this is from the 94 World Cup set. Gullit, given that he had some time at Chelsea, is another one of my favorite players ever. And if you ever watch any highlights of him, some pretty crazy just abilities, size, speed, passing, shooting. So he's a guy you might want to look into as well. And also, obviously, given that he played for the Dutch and many other big clubs, Milan, Chelsea, just to name a few, you can pretty much guarantee as soon as someone gets a little bit of World Cup nostalgia, I would imagine Ruud Gullit might be on their list of players to look into. So when I submitted this one, I was hoping to maybe get an 8 or a 9, but I guess the centering is good enough, and whatever very tiny amounts of edge wear there are was enough to get a 10. So SGC is pretty strict, so I'm really happy to get a 10 on this one. I might try to buy some more of these actually and grade them this year, but this is another one that's kind of like a PC item that I don't know, if the price is right, maybe I'll part ways with it at some point, but I think as time goes on, there's only going to be so many more of these in Gem Mint 10 condition as well. So just a quick review, we'll go in reverse order. Ruud Gullit World Cup 94 set might be one that's still affordable if you can find them in really good condition, and this is 1992 Eddie Gama. Some Milan stickers for Gullit. Then we have Southampton Alan Shearer from Pro Set 1990-91. Again, not that hard to find. It's just more finding them in a gradable condition. That's going to really be kind of the issue. So I think that's a pretty nice play. We have 2008 Panini Uefa Euro Ibrahimovic. That's a PSA 9. Like I said, that one is probably just a PC item for a while. This is 2006 Germany World Cup sticker, but look out for the foils like we saw of Drogba. Ibrahimovic has some too, and those are not super cheap right now, to be honest with you. Then we have some R9, 2 different Ronaldos from Las Fichas de la Liga 2007. Here, I'll show you guys the back of the card just so you can check out the set at the bottom. Mundi Chromo Las Fichas de la Liga. That's one of my favorite sets for sure, starting to grow on me. And last but not least, where we started, an SGC 9.5 Didier Drogba. So I hope that gives you guys some good ideas about where to potentially dig into for this is getting back into the soccer just hobby and market in general. This is kind of like, this is going to take a little more homework and a little more digging unless you know some of the history of the game. As you've seen from the last videos, I'm definitely all about getting in on some prospecting and trying to make some moves before the World Cup and that kind of thing. But also keep in mind, the guys that just have one name or one word and people instantly know who it is, that name recognition, the clubs they played for, the country they played for, World Cup impact, trophies, Ballon d'Ors, all that kind of stuff can really play into demand over time. So if you're looking to get into a little more expensive, a little more low pop, a little more rare, I think pre-modern and vintage is probably where you're going to find that, unless you're getting some really nice, some kind of autos or like rookie patch autos of the more modern guys. And again, that can be a really great play, but I believe it's, as of recording this, on January 11th, I think I heard either yesterday or the day before, I believe Chiesa, unfortunately, suffered some kind of ACL or MCL. So it gives you guys an idea of just, and you know, I feel bad if you're a heavy Chiesa investor, but that gives you guys an idea sort of the risk of, you know, investing in players that still play, because he may or may not even be back close to full form by the World Cup at the end of this year. So, and also you can see from past evidence that when a player does do in their ACL, MCL, or something in their knees or ligaments, it is tough to even get back to full top form. So that's kind of the risk, and that's the game you're playing if you are investing in a Pedri or a Gavi or any of the other type super hype rookies or super hype modern prospects. You just got to hope that you know, not only do they have a good career, but that they don't get injured, because you can look back at times when Haaland has been out or other players have been out. When they do pick up an injury, a lot of times you can just see their cards getting dumped, which some might argue as a buying opportunity, which may be true. But if you're going to be paying up, I really think this era of vintage and pre-modern is kind of where I would go with my heavier bets. And again, no financial advice. This is just simply what I'm doing. So I hope that gives you guys some ideas. Appreciate you tuning in. If you can think of some more prospects you'd like to see me break down that are modern, or perhaps some more of the vintage and pre-modern, I would love to hear from you guys. So make sure you drop a comment and subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching, and see you on the next one.